you can't uphold your boundaries if you're worried about the other person, if you're worried about what they feel. Meanwhile, oh, hello, welcome and welcome back, beautiful people. For those that don't know, my name is Davielle. I'm so glad you're here, and if you're new here, thank you for being here. I'm really grateful. Of course, I have something in store to talk to y'all about, but first I have to let y'all know that California is so tricky. It was freezing in my room just now, and I was like, you know what, it's around 11 o'clock, about to be 12, and I was like, you know what, it looks kind of cloudy, let me come outside with my sweater. Now it's so hot, I'm so warm. So if y'all see me strip midway in this video, know that I am melting. But for now, I'm okay. But I was like, I want some good sunlight for this video, so here I am. But it's all good. Cali weather is a vibe. I've been liking it so far, I must say. We're now in end of September. Jeez, we're about to be in October. So this weather is growing on me. I like it. I just can't keep up. So midday is giving tank top and shorts. But then between the hours of 10 and 5, it's pretty warm. And then after those hours, it's a little cold, in my opinion. But we gonna make it through. I got sweaters. We good. All right. So I love talking about boundaries. I love it. Last video I talked to y'all, or a few videos ago, however long ago, I don't know when I'm posting this, but I talked about how to really set boundaries, hold people accountable, blah, 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 blah. A lot of people get these messages like, put your foot down, da, 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 right? But I think what's helpful is understanding, why is it challenging to set boundaries in the first place, right? So it's easy to be like, oh, that's all I have to do. Okay, bet. And then when it comes time, it's like, and you're awkward, you don't know what to do, or you're like, fuck, I've learned what to do, but I still can't apply it, right? And I've been there, so I was like, you know what? I want to talk to y'all about it because I want us to hold ourselves accountable, right? It's not people's job to make sure that we uphold our boundaries and set them straight or do what we need to do in the background to make our lives move how we need to move, right? And part of that is understanding the root cause. Why the fuck can't I set boundaries, right? Or why is it challenging to say what the fuck I need to say, you know? Because it's not easy. And so here I come, giving y'all one example. So I want to focus on the word fawning, and I'll probably put it on the screen. Fawning. I didn't know what the fuck fawning was. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna pretend. I'm not even gonna play with y'all. You understand? I had no clue what fawning was. I was just like, okay, fawning. What the fuck? And basically, it's a trauma response. Fawning is a form of people pleasing. You're fawning over someone. You want that person to like you. You want that person to vibe with you. You don't want any problems, any type of conflict. So you do what you need to do to make the person feel good, to make the person feel accepted by you when they're around you, is the idea of fawning as a whole. It's basically a trauma response because you may have grown up, for example, like me, being called selfish or being called someone that doesn't listen, is a little, you know, like, why? Like, I listened, let me be clear, I listened, but I also didn't take shit. And so people would make me feel bad about being the mean one, being the stern one. And so as I grew up, it's like, oh, you're so mean, you're so selfish, what's wrong with you? Because I was setting boundaries early on. And so when someone's called mean and selfish so many times, you start to be like, okay, well, I don't want this person to think I'm mean. An outsider that's meeting you, or people that are starting to get to know you, you're like, okay, you're in this protective bubble because you're just like, I'm not a mean person. Even though for me, I'm not nice, but I'm a good person. And I saw a quote somewhere that said that. So if I can insert it here, I will. But I find peace in being a good person, but I'm not overly nice. I don't fuck around, and I love that about me. However, growing up, people made it seem like it was a problem. People made it seem like me doing me, handling my own business, especially my family. You know, I'm saying people, but it really was the family that I grew up with, the karmic family I grew up with. They felt like if you did not abide by their rules, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate, if you talk back, if you are speaking up, if you're doing something they don't accept of you, or you are not being like yes man to every fucking thing that your family says, it's a problem. Or it's this like, what's your problem, what's going on with you, da, 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 da. That's what I experienced. And so fawning is something that I ended up doing especially when people are helping me. And so it's this thing that I do naturally. It's not this thing like I'm plotting in my room, but it just ends up happening where I am like, you know what, how can I make this situation the best situation ever? And so my natural sense of being outgoing, bubbly, like talkative, I'm really curious about human beings. Whenever you meet me, if I'm not asking you questions and like really engaged, I probably am not in it. I'm not gonna lie, you know what I mean? That's me like just putting that out there. I am very curious about life in general. I'm a curious human being. And so I want to get to know you. And that natural thing comes out, but then also my trauma comes out where I'm like, shit, this person's helping me. I want to make sure that they're good. I'm not being too mean. I'm not being too forward, because I'm the type of person, I'll call you out, but in the most calm way. Like, I'm not the person that wants to make you feel awkward, because I don't want you to make me feel awkward, right? But I'm the type to just call it out, like, wait, why did you just do that? Because I'm a questions person. I ask a million questions. Even as a kid, people were like, you're gonna be a lawyer because you question people so much. And so I do that with people. However, the problem with fawning and doing all that loveliness is you let people slide because you want to make sure that you are pleasing what it is that they want out of you, what it is that they are hoping to get out of you. And so, I'm gonna be honest and real. This is a situation I'm actively going through. And my sister and I have gone through homelessness and like really just tough times for months straight. And so when you get people to raise their hand and want to help you, it's something that is so relieving. It's just such a blessing to have someone that reaches out and offers a helping hand or offers some sort of deal that works out. And so in me and my sister's situation, we've worked out a deal. With that comes personalities, comes a lot of things, right? And so for me, I just want things to be peaceful. I don't care for drama. I don't care for any type of anything. I think there was one time during the situation I'm talking about, I ended up confronting a person that is helping us. And I think we had like texted them like, hey, did you want to meet us this place or whatever? And they were like, oh yeah, maybe. And they're like, okay, well, let us know so we'll know if we should leave or not. The person never texted us back. And so when we got back, I like said, hey, like I'm a talkative person. I'm going to say it because we're all friends. We're cool. And I'm just like, hey, you didn't text us back. Like, what happened? We were waiting for you to text us back. And they were like, huh? What? And like completely avoided the situation. I was just like, huh? Like, oh, is this what it's like to confront the person? Okay. And that's not like the biggest deal, but I'm a big communicator. So now I have to understand, okay, how can I work my way around this? Because this isn't the most clearest situation, right? And so after that, I started to be like, oh, okay, this isn't like a straight shooter person. Like if I come in straight, I feel a little awkward. And so now I start to tap into the fawning side where I'm like, okay, if I come at you so straight, so I need to just like make sure everything's good and like make sure everything's all right. Meanwhile, my boundaries says, you didn't text me back and you said you would, and then when you see me, you act like nothing happened and I'm supposed to just deal. I don't really love that. But the fawning in me is just like, anyway, oh my God, I want to make sure everyone's at peace. Even people in my family, one of my sisters and my, I think grandfather, whatever, would go at it a lot. And that was something I'd be like, okay, guys, okay, relax. Like I always wanted to defuse the situation. So anything I could do to defuse the situation was helpful for me and my peace, right? But it also made me a pushover. It also made me this person that's like worried about the person more than I'm worried about myself and how I feel in the situation. And so now, cue all the fireworks and all the beautiful things that I'm trying to do to make this person happy. Meanwhile, they didn't have the decency in this example to text me back or to acknowledge that they didn't text me back. Instead, it was kind of like a gaslighting situation, like, what are you talking about? And then they like shut down and made it like seem like I don't know, was crying. I don't know. But the point is, I'm just like, oh, okay. All right, that didn't go well, huh? And instead of seeing the situation for what it is and how uncomfortable it made me, instead I look at the person and I'm like, oh, did I make them uncomfortable? Yikes. And now there's guilt, or now there's a level of whatever, which in this situation, I didn't feel guilty. I was just kind of like, what, huh? So I'm like, all right, now cue a bunch of things coming up, like the person's birthday coming up, and a week before, me and my sister are just going hard, like planning for their birthday, like doing the best that we can as people that just like got out of homelessness. We're doing the best that we can with the little that we have, and we're just hyping that person up, and oh my gosh, every little thing that we can do to make the week exciting up until their birthday, we were doing it. And the day comes, I'm cooking breakfast, I make a card, happy birthday, we go out. I mean, it's like pretty cool. It's awesome, honestly, especially like I said, people that are going through what we're going through are like, oh, we have a friend, this is cool. Meanwhile, there's not much being asked about me. There's not much, hey, what about you? What about, so that stuff just starts to dwindle. It's like you are in a situation where the person doesn't necessarily show you that they want to get to know you, that they want to understand your life or anything. And if you get to talk about yourself, it's because you start to insert it and they're not necessarily asking. And so even as you pick up on this, fawning makes you want to still be a people pleaser, makes you want to still show up. And mind you, especially if you like the person to a certain degree, it's like easy to do it. But then your needs and your wants start to dwindle. So now I start to see myself feeling a little depleted because now I'm around the person and they always want to talk about themselves and it's always about them. But meanwhile, I'm going through things like healing from the whole, homeless journey and what I've gone through and having this moment to finally breathe, and there's not really a person around that wants to hear about it. And thank God I have my sister that I can talk to a lot or whatever. But it was just something where I was like, oh shoot, this isn't a balance. And normal Davielle would start to put boundaries where I would take my energy back and I would start to distance myself a little bit, give the person space. But instead I'm just like, wait, I don't want to rock the boat. Finally, when I catch it, I'm like, oh, I'm fawning right now. Wow. And I got a reminder online that's like, oh, this is what fawning is about. And I'm like, wow, you can't uphold your boundaries if you're worried about the other person, if you're worried about what they feel. Meanwhile, they're taking all of the things you're giving, like, hey, this is great, right? And it's a mutually beneficial situation. The person's helping you, oh my gosh. But in reality, when a friendship is there and I know what I want out of a friendship, when I'm not receiving that, I start to feel depleted. And that's truly a feeling that I feel inside. It's not this ego thing. It's nothing. It's like, aw, this isn't the kind of friendship that I want to call in. I don't want to just people please. There's a motorcycle. I don't want to prioritize people pleasing, and I don't want to attract the energy of people pleasing in my life. I want to actually stop it now. And so God has given me an opportunity to see how I'm people pleasing in a situation where I'm scared that, oh, I don't want them to stop helping me, or I don't want this. And in reality, there's not really fear. It's just the person may feel uncomfortable if I do this thing and I don't want them to feel uncomfortable again. And it's like, but what about you? And so that's the one thing I do want to put out there. A lot of times when we're not setting our boundaries, because we're not thinking about ourselves. And yeah, well, I am thinking about myself because I don't want it to be awkward, but yet you're already awkward. You're already feeling awkward in the situation. You're actually amplifying the awkwardness because you already know how you feel. You've already identified how this person does not treat you as the friendship that you want to call into your life. So now when you're accepting it, you're tolerating something that doesn't align with you. And so now you're asking the universe, well, why? But you're tolerating something. The universe is like, hey, I gave you this example and you're tolerating it. So that means you're okay with it. And so regardless of what the other person's doing, it doesn't have to be good or bad. That's the thing about what I'm talking about here. What that person does is neither good or bad. Everyone's raised differently. And that's the thing. I have compassion in my heart. You can have compassion for people in a sense where you're like, oh, they're probably raised different. It doesn't mean that I negate how I feel and how uncomfortable or how awkward or how not so great the situation makes me feel. That is when you can cut off the fawning. That's when the people pleasing and the worrying about other people starts to dwindle, because you do put that energy onto yourself. You do start to be selfish, because that selfish word is beautiful. It's not a bad word, right? And so once I started to catch it, I was like, oh, okay, I need to be more to myself. So I started spending more time alone, like me and my sister, because me and my sister have really great conversation. If I confront her with something, we're going to talk about it. Like, she's very open communicator, and we've trained at this. Like, we were not always like this. Me and Brianna, my sister, we were not always the most communicative people. We had a lot of silent moments, we had a lot of this, until we could really confront each other and get there. And so with boundaries, me and her were able to heal our relationship. So for me to think I can go into other relationships and not set boundaries, but yet it's going to heal and it's going to be better, no, it doesn't work out in the end. At the end of the day, the person's still going to feel your energy and feel like they can get away with things. And I'm not saying that's the situation, it's just in general. That's how people work. And so identifying the idea that I was fawning helped me to be like, oh, this needs to stop. And so like I said, I started to bring my energy more inward. I started to worry more about myself, didn't have as much time for the person, which in reality, that was the truth. I needed to handle my life. I was trying to rebuild my life, and there wasn't many conversations about that happening, and that's okay, but there was a lot of energy into what that person was going through, and I didn't worry about myself, and there was a few times I vocalized the emotions I'm going through and all that, and there just wasn't much, and that's okay. But I think me learning what I need out of my life helped me to realize that this wasn't a mutually beneficial situation in that moment, because I was giving a lot, giving. And I don't want to call that energy into my life. I don't want to accept that. And so it doesn't mean the person's bad. It doesn't mean I'm bad. It doesn't mean anything. It just means I have to reevaluate, and I have to place some distance, especially when you don't know how to move forward with the situation. You have to insert a level of distance. And lo and behold, a couple weeks later or months or so, my birthday comes up and I don't get a happy birthday. The person looks me in the eye, sees me a few times that day, or however many times, and there's nothing. And they ended up interacting with the birthday post and all that, and there just wasn't anything. And I think for me, I had to sit with it and be like, wow, thank God I checked in with myself and I removed myself, or that would have hurt my feelings, because I think that person is not entitled to do anything. Just because I did something, it doesn't mean it's a tit for tat. But at the same time, I understand how it makes me feel, and that person not saying anything to me for my birthday, it left a lasting impression. But it also was like, oh, okay, this is what I'm being taught. A lot of times we think it's this even balanced situation, but then when shit hits the fan, we're shocked and we're, oh my God, but we always saw the signs. We always felt it. You know what I mean? Like, already the energy wasn't on me. So why would I be shocked that when my birthday comes around, I don't get a happy birthday? And so, there may be many things. Maybe that person forgot it was my birthday. Maybe they were just consumed in what they were going through. Maybe they just had a lot going on. You know what I mean? And I think that's where compassion comes from. I can be a compassionate human being and see maybe they just had a lot going on and they just forgot. And, I think there was like a birthday post that they reacted to or whatever on someone else's page, and still had to sit with it and be like, that's a choice. They made a choice and they're allowed to. That's the thing with boundaries. They're allowed. People aren't bad people because they don't act the way that we need and want them to, or expected them to. That's just that on that. Because I remember when we talked about birthdays, we were all together talking about birthdays. They said their birthday, I said mine, my sister said hers, everything. And I ended up writing in my calendar their birthday and making sure I'm talking about it and all that. And so that's just what that was. It's just someone that helped me to see that I have a challenge when it comes to fawning and people pleasing and really wanting people to like me, and using like the trauma that I've had from my family in this situation, when in reality I need to just bring my energy back to me, right? I need to just take a moment. I need to just do me, just like others will do them. And so that's a great way to understand yourself. And that's just an example in my life. I've had many examples of how I've fawned, even my past relationships. I've really tried to seem like the loving, amazing girlfriend that I truly was. But there were things they were doing and I was fed up the first fucking time they did it. But I stuck around and tolerated because I want to be worthy of love. I want to be worthy of their help, of their support, of their nurturing, whatever the fuck, right? And it's just not right for you. It's just not okay. And I can bash these people. My ex is the worst. For what? What does that do? Everyone is in my life to teach me something. Everyone is in my life to help me learn more. If I'm over here bashing them and sitting in my ego, I'm not learning. I'm not actually taking it in and thanking God for this situation so I can learn moving forward. Now, if I get a man and I'm fawning, I'm going to be shocked at why he's taking advantage of me. What the fuck are you shocked about? You already understood what the universe is trying to help you to do, but you're scared. You're just hiding behind fear and all that, and I get that. It's so relatable. Fear is such a real thing. But I'm going to tell you this. A lot of the things that we fear, and I have a video about fears and how to overcome your fears, but a lot of the things that we fear, we're already experiencing. Well, I fear them pulling away and this and that. They're already pulling away. They don't ask you about you. They don't really get to know you, or they're not treating you how they want you to. Oh, but I may lose them forever. You may still lose them, because as you're a people pleaser, they may cheat on you, or they may act like they like you, but in reality, you know what I mean? And I think there was one thing me and my sister really learned. It's like, people will help you, but at what cost? A lot of people, they want to help you, and there's their reason. I don't know their reason. I don't care for their reason. You know what I mean? But you feel it. And not everyone is like that. I don't fucking help for that. But sometimes I do. Sometimes you are hoping you can get something out of it. Like, I'm not innocent. You know what I mean? But I try not to do that. But some people, you just don't know why they're helping you. So you're like, I'm scared that, now when I do it, they're already doing it, or you're already experiencing a level of discomfort. You have to choose which level of discomfort. The level where I set no boundaries in the situation, and now I'm just gonna tolerate whatever they do, so it is what it is, because my fears take over too much and I can't speak up. Or it's a the situation is already not working in my favor. It's already not what I need it to be. So why not take this chance and let the fear pop up? But at the end of the day, I know my worth. I know that I got it. I know that there's always going to be another option at the end of the day, right? No one can run you. No one can make you go outside of yourself. That's the goal, right? And we're going to have our moments, but we have to catch ourselves. And that's what I'm doing. Like I said, this is a situation very fresh and I'm overcoming it. Even my past situations, relationships, I'm not in a relationship right now. In my next relationship, I have to watch myself. I can't be fawning. I have to be the real me. If I have a challenge, I have an issue, I have a situation, I have to figure out what am I going to tolerate and why? Ask yourself, what am I tolerating right now and why? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Okay. And so that's one example. I have many examples, so I'll probably share more of these videos. But the first step is the people pleasing, fawning, all of that can really cause you to not want to set boundaries. Please do it anyway. Every area of your life, you got homework. Okay, I'm giving you homework because I'm doing it too. Every area of your life where you feel like you are begging people to be around you, begging for people to care, begging for people to want to even hang out with you, want to reach out, want to whatever. Meanwhile, it doesn't feel like your true self. Check in and realize and figure out, is this worth my time? Is this worth my energy? And it also goes for the other side. If you feel like you're somebody that is taking advantage of someone that's fawning, check in with yourself and be like, all right. Am I getting to know that person much? They were good to me. They were this, they were that. Am I actually taking a moment to ask them how they're doing? To ask them like, hey, I'm concerned about you. I care about you. Are you taking a moment to get to know them, to love on them? Truly? Or are you just taking advantage of someone that's fawning? Like, there's so many ways in which this can go. Even my sister, she used to fawn towards me and I had the option to take advantage of her. I absolutely did. And I had to check myself a few times. I had to be like, I know what she's doing. I'm not going to take advantage of it though. Because people want love. They want affection. They want attention. And sometimes people will choose the hard way to get attention and to get all of that. And for me, I was just like, no, I'm just going to set my boundaries, but I'm not going to take advantage of her. I'm not going to anything. We have choices in this lifetime, but we have to hold ourselves accountable in order to make the best choices, the best decisions for this lifetime. A lot of us come into this lifetime to really be clear about what the fuck we're going to tolerate. And that's so important. What are you going to tolerate? What are you worth? If you are worth the boundaries that you want to put down, please start to hype yourself up. Start in the mirror. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Hype yourself the fuck up. Know that you are deserving. Okay? That's what I'm doing daily, and it's helping so much. I'm already really great at setting boundaries, but it be the little things and the little, and that's why God will put you in a certain situation. If I'm not being helped or anything, oh my God, I could just be like, whatever. I don't care. Like, I'll walk away, I'll this, all that. But the minute someone's helping me, I feel indebted. I feel like, shoot, I don't want to ruin this relationship. I don't want any conflict. And it's like, why is it conflicting that I just want a level of respect or I just want a level of reciprocity, whatever the fuck, And so check in with yourself. All of the limiting beliefs of I don't deserve this person's respect, I don't this, I don't that. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, okay? That's what I'm doing, like I said, and it's doing wonders, seriously. So I just wanted to get a little vulnerable with y'all. I'm gonna share a few other ways in which boundaries have been a challenge for me and how I've overcome them. And so stick around. I got your back. I'll just share, okay? This is a safe space, all right? We got this. But I hope you're able to apply some of the things that I mentioned today. And as always, if you have questions, please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all of the above. Thank you so much for being here. Your support literally means the world, okay? I'm so grateful for you, and I will see you on the next one, right? Promise? Cool? All right. Bye.